like to welcome everyone to the December 19th, 2022 Budget Committee meeting, and let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. For the record, Brian Hickey is not going to be here this evening. He is excused. So I will move on to public forum. Yeah, all other members are present. Make sure I say that. Move on to public forum. Seeing no one in the audience coming up, I guess we can close public forum and move on to new business, which is the presentation of the proposed town budget. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Budget Committee members. I'm here to present the budget that was adopted by the Town Council in October, and it's for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, and beginning July 1st, 2023. So it's a little time off. First, we're going to go over a little bit the state of the economy in Newmarket. For the last 3 years, we've been seeing the rebound from the 2020 pandemic economy, where on July 1st we had an unemployment rate in the United States of 10.5%. Nationwide now we're down to 3.8%. The state we were at 7.9% during the pandemic, and now we're down to 1.9%. The next is Rockham County, which was 8.4% during the pandemic. We're down to 1.9%. The Portsmouth Metro, which we're part of, was 7.4% unemployment in 2020. We're down to 1.6%. And the town itself was at 7.6% during the pandemic. We're down to 1.5%. Just for statistics, 1.5 is negligible for unemployment. That means that can be a fluctuation of seasonal help to anything like that. So they consider that almost a rate of 0, which is a problem too. Consumer price index is the other item that we look at, which is the way to look at the cost of increasing goods over time. During the pandemic, it was the CPI was up 1.3% over the previous year. Last year it was up 1% United States. I'm sorry, 2019 was 1.3% up. During the pandemic it was 1%. Last year it rose 5.4%, and this year it rose 8.5% over the previous year. For the Northeast Regional, it was 1.1 for the 19 and 20. That rose 4.3, and that skyrocketed up to 7.3 in 2022. And for Boston, which we consider ourselves part of, it was 2.1% in 2019, dropped to less than a percentage increase in 2020, up to 4.3, then 7. So what's this mean? The cost of oil, the cost of goods, what people are using to buy, this is the inflation. A way to look at inflation is what the consumer price index has increased. So the cost of goods and what we're looking at is pretty much up 7% over the previous year. The tax rate for this coming year, which we already set. Let me just turn something off. Whoops. So what we're here discussing today is that darkish gray, about 0.25%, which is the town, is $6.27 a thousand, or 23% of the tax rate. The school, which is the largest, is a little bit under. It's about 74% of the budget of the tax rate, which is $18.36 for local school, and $1.42 for the state school. When we say state school, that does not mean it's money that we send to the state and we get back. It's money that we're required by the state to raise, and we just keep it. So it's not, we don't get a check from the state when we have raised a state school. And finally, the county, which is 94 cents, and that's 4% of the tax rate. And here's a comparison for the last 5 years. If you notice, the town has pretty much stable right around that level right there, about anywhere from $6.39 down to $5.41 in 2019. Next item that we need to look at when looking at the budget is the assessed valuation of the town. As you can see, the reason why that rate dropped so much in 2019 is we did a revaluation in 2018 when the value of the town went from $763,201,228 up to $977,203,228. And today, the value of the town is $995,227,048. Why is that important? When we determine the tax rate, you basically take the value of the town, divide it by 1,000, and that's what it costs. $1 tax rate is $995,277. However, one of the things that we're concerned about right now is our ratio, which was actually the value of the town. As you know, we determined the value of the town by market sales. Our valuation right now is at 72%. DRA recommends that we should always be between 85 and 105% value. So we're behind the curve right now. We're assessed, the valuation of the town is lower than what the market values are showing. Why is that also important? If we all of a sudden have a great recession or a bubble burst in the real estate market like we did in 2008, we could actually flip that. And if you see in 2000, about 8 to 12 to 13, we were the valuation of the town was above 100%. So we were actually worth more than what the market was showing. My concern is if all of a sudden we have some kind of economic downfall, which some people are saying, that number could hurt us in the long run. That what we're raising taxes on could actually be lower than what the markets will be showing if the markets start drying up. So, the budget recommendation, that should say Town Council. Town Council is recommending a budget of $16,240,017, or 6.72% increase. The increase of $1,022,176. General fund will be seeing an increase of $445,937. Special revenue funds would see $425,433, and the enterprise fund $150,806. So what are these funds? The general fund is what you think of the general operations of the government. That's about $9.7 million, or 60% of the budget. Enterprise funds are water and sewer because they're not raised through taxation. That's 28%, or about $4.6 million of the budget. The special revenue is about 1.9, or 12%. That is solid waste because we offset some of those costs with the paper bag system. That is recreation revolving fund because of the fees there, as well as the library, because the library is in a unique situation where we provide them with a grant and they actually oversee the line items in their budget. So where's it going? Which I think everybody else is realizing, we're seeing inflation. It's mainly inflationary costs. We're seeing electricity go up by $152,850. Heating fuel going up $109,900. Health insurance is going up $83,217. Workers' compensation is $15,378. Salt, $35,000. Gasoline, $11,500. Diesel, $22,000. Fire part-time salaries. One of the things that we've been doing to improve our call times over the last few years is having individuals on call, so they manning the station during the weekends, and that's going to be $22,912. It's really been working the last few years we've been doing this. It's just the cost of doing that. Liability insurance is going up, $18,704. The library salaries is $51,524. That's to allow the library to have the children's librarian go from part-time to full-time. Is the same thing as having an employee go to full-time and the benefit associated there. Solid waste collection, $25,000. Water chemicals, $22,000. Sewer chemicals, $37,000. We are not adding any new programs. The library is the only new staff person in the budget. We knew coming into it with the uncertainty of the economy, we didn't want to try to overdo anything. That was with the marching order from the council. So that's the increases right now. I know we always talk about the capital reserve contributions. Capital reserves are our savings accounts that we put money aside for certain items. So we're going to be contributing $75,000 for the Public Works Capital Reserve Fund. That's for equipment. Building, $25,000, which is an increase of $5,000 for building improvements. Road improvements, we're leaving it flat at $250,000. But with the price of oil increasing, we can't buy as much pavement, so we'll probably end up doing less roads with the same amount of money. Stormwater management, we do not have any more money going in there this year. We didn't need to. Fire department, $50,000. We're going to be putting into the capital reserve. That's to pay off leases for equipment. Police dispatch equipment is $15,000, or an increase of $5,000 the previous year. That's going to be in the process of updating that equipment in there. Veterans Memorial Trust, $2,000. 300th anniversary is coming up for $2,000. Recreation facilities, we're looking at $25,000 in there. The master plan, $10,000, and a telecommunications increase of $20,000. That's IT. So if we have a system failure, we have that we can go to. Revenue budget. We are looking at an increase in revenues. Over the previous year, last year we had a revenue budget of $9.3 million. We're anticipating $9.6 million. We're seeing an increase in the general fund to 4.1 over 3.6. You can't see that one. 4.5 for the enterprise funds. And special revenue, we are seeing an increase there as well from 846,000. I'm sorry, $812,412 to $946,298. We're just seeing more recreation programming coming through. So the next slide is an estimate using only the data we have as of today, which is the tax rate estimate. So the way we determine that is that we do the gross appropriation, which is $16,240,017, and we less the revenues, and there'd be a different number. That's down, and then overlay, which is abatements. War service credits, $145,000. So the net appropriation is $6,697,848. We would take the assessed value of the town, divide that by that, and multiply it by 1,000. You get $6.82 per thousand. So it is a 30 increase over the previous year. As well as the two warrant articles that we're probably going to have. One is we have to do it because it's a loan. It's a raise $100,000 for planning work for the municipal storm drain system in Moody Point. The town received 100% principal forgiveness and interest payment we've made through the previous established Stormwater Capital Reserve Fund, so there'll be no impact on the tax rate. And the second would be a 3-year police collective bargaining agreement. The town council has not approved this yet, but it is on their agenda for tomorrow night for the first reading for the tentative agreement. The first year is a 3-year agreement. As I said, the first year would be a $3.50 hourly increase across the board for every employee covered by a collective bargaining agreement, and then 5% increases in years 2 and 3. So it would be a 17-cent impact on the tax rate in fiscal year 24. We would have to raise $167,385 if it was approved by the voters. We're just having a hard time, like everybody, with police officers retaining and trying to recruit. We are lucky, very lucky compared to many communities where they're just having, vacancies. I think a lot of the larger cities around, I've heard of numbers up to 15 vacancies of police officers in their ranks. So we're lucky, and I think we're down to 1 right now. Do you know if we have 1? Yeah.
Close.
But we're just trying to retain them. Yeah.
So that is not yet in the increase.
That is not.
Cents is not, that would go on.
That would go right. Right. So the first year, if this gets approved on July 1, every police officer will receive a $3.50 per hour increase in their salary.
And the proposed tax
Is 17 cents.
17 cents more than what you have.
Exactly, in the budget. Yep. And that's the budget. I mean, as I said, there's not a lot of big projects or anything, new positions, just trying to get through the economy that we have right now and determine where we go from there. I know the committee had a number of questions that I answered previously in a memo. So where we are.
Go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation.
No problem.
So just a couple questions about the capital reserve and some of this stuff. So
Sure.
that comes from the general fund?
It does. Through taxation. Yep.
Because my first question is, we have a CIP. I was part of that this year. It's a pretty involved process, and nowhere in your material do you show what the CIP voted for or didn't vote for. Is there a reason why?
We usually put it as what we put the department head recommends as CIP usually.
But it's not.
But also understand that the CIP committee is not a budgetary, but a planning document.
Okay.
So it's not. What the CIP committee votes on is not what is recommended by the departments. It's not what's recommended by the town manager. The CIP is a planning document that we look at and say, okay, here are the projects we can have for the next 10 years. I don't have the money to raise all the projects for the next 10 years.
Right.
So I have to do it. So contributions to capital reserves is different than the CIP program itself.
I mean, that group, it is a bipartisan, group.
Yep.
And that we do vote on this
Oh,
year's
absolutely.
budget. So
Yep.
you would think somewhere you would.
And I understand it, but again, it's a
Yeah.
it's a
okay.
planning document. Would I love to have the fact that we annually have a CIP, like Portsmouth, Dover, Rochester, they have a CIP program where annually a CIP is adopted by, the program is adopted by the council, but then also the bonds are issued to pay for those programming. So it issues debt, which we don't, we don't have that luxury because we're still under SB2, traditional town meeting when it comes to CIP programming. So it's just used more as a planning document for also the reason statutorily we have it, were impact fees.
Right.
So do we actually look at it? Absolutely, I do. And I don't want people to don't think we do, because it helps us with the longer planning thing. For example, we went out for RFPs for a facility study, because we know there's a lot of facilities issues that we're going to be seeing. So instead of just trying to fit it all in through like every department wanting it, we want to come up with a facilities master plan and say, in this year we do X, and this year we do Y, and this year we do Z. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And I thought it was a good process. We had hearings, we had
Yep,
people come
absolutely.
in, the whole 9 yards. So in the in page 17 of your report, the
Yep.
fire department, you town manager don't show the 50,000, and the total's wrong at the bottom.
Okay.
Well, actually, your total's right. The town council total's wrong.
Okay.
So did you not concur with the 50,000?
No, what happened was the department head didn't put it in there, so I didn't put it in mine. Then after the fact, the department head informed me that, yes, it was supposed to be in there, but I already presented the budget to the council. So when I went to the council, I asked them to put it back in.
Right. The consensus of the CIP was that if we're going to do 10-year leases on vehicles, that becomes then a repeatable, predictable expense. And why wouldn't we treat that the same way we do police cars, police vehicles? And it seems not to be consistent with the purpose of a capital reserve to put money away. We're paying that right out in a lease payment.
And I agree with you. I know last year we had issues with the budget committee that added $52,000 because there was questioning about the number, if we're underfunding the capital reserve fund. I would prefer to have it as a line item. I didn't want to do too many changes this year and not have the contribution to the capital reserve and have the zero out after the fact. I would much rather have as a line item in the fire departments as lease payments, because that's what it actually is.
Is that something that you then expect over time
Yes.
to try to work towards?
Absolutely.
I think that would make more sense.
Yep.
I was the one that made that motion last year. I mean, I understand it better this year.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Okay. I guess that's it. Yeah, one last one was the ratio, the 73.7.
Yeah.
I mean, that's to our benefit that it's low, though, right?
The only problem, my concern is if it would be if we were doing the reval this year and we went up to 100%, then we'd be over $1 billion in valuation. My concern is what the professionals out there are saying. If we hit a recession,
Right.
or if the market crashes, then we could be under. If we do a reval, we could be underwater by having to change the valuation. That'd be my only concern.
Right, but it's
Which-
better, it's
yeah.
better than if it were 80 or.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Right,
I mean,
okay,
and I'm not as nervous as I was in the summer when I was starting the budget, because we are seeing some inflationary cost level with oil and those kind of items. Before, we were seeing it go sky high. But still, the housing market's going to have a,
we should expect that housing values to go down. I mean, interest rates double, mortgage rates double.
that's right. That's the thing. So,
Yeah,
and remember, I'm trying to budget. This is for not this coming June, but the following June. So it's still an iffy situation. And sorry, Roger, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying that, the interest rates, if they stay high, will dampen the real estate market.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen in 24, 25? Hard to guess at this point.
In rule of thumb, years of a presidential election, economy drops, just because of the uncertainty for the year.
Yeah.
Steve,
The
what?
issue with the valuations and the tax rate has more to do with the equality of the distribution of the taxes as it does with the amount of money that you're going to raise.
Right.
You're going to raise the amount of money that you're going to raise.
Right.
The issue is just how it spreads across. So the concept of having it between 85 and 105% is so that you're within a 20% guard band, and you don't have a scenario where you have somebody who's significantly undervalued in their in the appraisal of their property, and so they're not paying, relatively equal share.
Right. And one of the things that we do also, we do quarterly pickups. So we do basically a quarter of the town, and then in year 5 we do the statistical update. So you could have the concern there is, so you pick up one house in 2018, the last time we did it, or 2019, and we're due in 2000. You could have a big difference in the value of those properties between then.
Well, the big thing is somebody who's bought a house recently.
Yeah.
They're going to pay their tax rate based on the most recent purchase price.
Right.
Whereas somebody who may live right next door, they lived in their house for 20 years and it hasn't been, the appraisal hasn't been equalized.
Right.
So he's got a significantly lower tax bill.
You're 100%.
That's
Yeah,
really
100%.
the issue at hand.
Yep.
So what are we looking at here? We're looking at the town council proposed fiscal year 24?
Yep.
That's the number.
That's the number.
Okay, all right. Just want to be clear about that.
Council proposed. I proposed to the council proposed to the budget committee proposed to the voters.
Yeah. So there's really only minor adjustments being made across the board.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that might be 3 or 4 line items that you've adjusted between the town council and the proposed
Yeah.
and your proposed budget.
When will you have the warrant articles for our review?
If the council votes, I was ill with the last council meeting, so I can't remember. They voted for the stormwater one, so that will be ready shortly. I was going to bring them both in at the same time, and I have to have 2 readings on the collective bargaining, so that'll be the 4th of January. But I can give a draft to the budget committee beforehand. I already have the draft sitting there.
We'll need to do that prior to
January
public
9th.
hearing.
Yeah.
The 9th, yeah.
Because the last day of accepting collective bargaining, I want to say it was January 11th. It's whenever at the same time as the petition articles are. So we had time there, but if your public hearing is then, let me see what I can do to get it, because the 4th will be the day the council votes on it. So what you could do is you'll get it. Well, it doesn't impact the budget part. That the committee can change, because the budget committee only recommends or not recommends those articles. So we can just provide it to you, and you can even vote before the public hearing, say yay or nay. We recommend it, don't recommend.
Any other questions?
I have one more.
Yes.
I know we talked about this last year. The librarian, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Librarian, but that was like the 4th largest expense on your list. So is that something that you guys vote on and you guys have control over? Do you, is it, how does
Okay.
that get decided, I guess?
Yeah, library law is, and we're actually even more unique than other communities because we're not a library set up in the library board of trustees, which you think by state law if you were in other towns. We're actually a mill library, which we still have the deed from the 1800s that if the mill ever went under, that the board of the selectmen would oversee the library by appointing a board of trustees, which we have. However, the trustees oversees their funds. We have control of the bottom line, but they have control over the day-to-day funds. And the reasoning for that is, it's an old colonial law that they wanted individuals independent from the selectmen to be able to determine what kind of books and what kind of things they have in the library because it would get political. So the law is they oversee basically everything within from the walls in, including personnel, the trustees have. Everything on the walls out, the town does for facilities.
Right, but in this case, they're
Yeah.
coming in asking you for 50 grand more.
So we could have cut the budget if we didn't agree with it, but they could have also said, much like the town can with the budget committee does the bottom line, they could say, well, we're going to take the $50,000 from somewhere else and do that. So we don't have say over that, but they made a good case. I mean, the volume is there now. I mean, one of those things, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, would libraries have been seeing this resurgence with the internet and everything changing so quickly, I would have probably said no. But you're seeing the opposite. You're seeing libraries circulations growing, and I can't remember the numbers, but it was astronomical. The number of new cards that have been issued. I think it went up 100%, 50%. Sorry, 50%. So they're seeing use of the library. One thing that technology helped is that it's not just the Newmarket library, but it's part of the larger world library, and you can get books from wherever quickly. So they're using it more as tools, and also for other educational things, especially for children. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Steve, you mentioned petition warrant articles. They have until the 11th.
Yeah, and remember, in our form of government, it's only financial articles.
Right.
So.
Well, I guess my question is, will we schedule the public hearing for the 9th?
You don't need to have a public hearing on the articles. You need to have the public hearing on the budget.
On the budget, okay.
So.
Okay.
And I've had, in my 10 years in Newmarket, I've had one article, and that was because we cut a program years ago.
Okay. Any other questions? It's too easy.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Okay.
See you at the public hearing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. Next, we have the approval of the meeting minutes from the 28th. Do I have a motion to accept, or to approve, I should say?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion by Brian, second by Chris. Any changes, comments?
I have on line 227. I am not clear what happened, what was said, but if you read this, says, a report by Patty Wands for just this fall, and report given to school board last April. Is that his second report, or is and if it was this fall, they couldn't have gotten it last April. I'm not sure what was said. Does anybody remember?
I think my line numbering is different.
Pardon?
What line are you on?
My line numbering's different. What
What line?
page are
Oh.
you looking at?
227. The paragraph, on my line number, it starts with 226. Superintendent Allen said the last question.
I see it, see it.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I thought that we had requested that the school provide us with a copy of that report or those reports if there was more than one. Because the concern expressed was how we rank relative to other schools. And I believe that they offered to forward us a copy of that, and I haven't seen it. Now, I may be wrong, maybe
I think I had asked about that.
yeah, I thought you had asked.
Well, it's interesting, because I went and I did look it up after. I just looked at what he's looking at there. The document that you have in front of you is not the document I have in front of me.
Hmm?
The document you have in front of you is not the one I have in front of me.
Oh, November 20th. I just printed out one
Okay,
page of
there
it.
was a set of minutes that were corrected from what,
Yeah,
the
October
October
minutes.
meeting, yeah. Those
Yeah.
were sent out prior to the November minutes.
Well, this was the November 28th.
Right, but when did you get those?
It came
When
in
did I get
separate
those?
email, a few days after the.
Yes.
November 28th, 227. We're talking about Chairman LeBranch said
No,
the actual.
oh, okay.
I believe I
This
sent
is
them out
the
either
one.
the
This is
28th or
the-
the 29th.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why it, I,
I think I was the one that asked if they benchmarked.
yeah, okay. Yeah, we were talking about school benchmarks and that compare,
I don't recall them saying they were gonna give us anything, but I could have missed that.
I mean, if there's something that you want to request, I can certainly,
I would like to see a copy of that analyzes our performance with regards to the school's report, performance regards to the testing.
Testing or the cost?
Testing,
Oh.
no, educational performance,
Okay, I got you.
educational performance.
I thought they didn't they give us a document, I thought, that showed our testing results compared to other districts?
No,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got that.
did we?
One thing, Roger, if you look at our meeting on Thursday of last week, Patty went through the fall NEWA results, just our percentile rankings, by grade level, by subject. It's just one snapshot, but
Yeah.
pretty interesting picture of where we're doing well and where we've got some work to do.
Okay. Yeah, I think apparently that's what was referred to here.
Okay.
The analysis of the testing that goes on. But I was wondering if it's possible to see
Yeah,
that.
we can certainly, we can get Todd to send it to you. It's also, if you look at the board pack posted with our last meeting, Patty's slides are in the board pack too. But
Oh,
I'll
okay.
get him to send that along to you.
All right, thank you,
you'll take care of that, Dan?
Yeah, I got it.
thank you. Okay.
Any other,
I can share with you that I did go to the state website, which doesn't rank or show cost per student. And they do calculate it slightly differently.
Yeah.
But prior to this year, I mean, I think actually the date is a couple of years old. We were made sense. We were right in there.
You're right.
Now it's going up, so I don't know what it'll look like now. But a couple of years ago, it would have made sense for whatever that's worth.
Probably everything's gone up. Everybody's gone up, I would think.
You would think.
But, okay.
okay, so basically we don't have any adjustments to make?
Then I guess not. Will leave it the way it is.
I've got one. It's on page 2. The way my rows are numbered, it's row 55. Every department and a summary reflecting an overall reduction of 0.35 FTE. I think that's 7.35. I went back and looked at the
I think you're right.
presentation, because I mean 0.35 FTE would not be 3.6% of our staffing. We're not, we're bigger than that. So I think that should say 7. If I went back and looked at the notes, and I think it's 7.35.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you're correct.
I was absent at the last meeting, I said I was present, so I noticed.
Oh, okay. I'll make sure we can adjust that.
Okay.
Anything else for adjustments or changes? All right, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And one abstention, Danielle. Okay, other business.
We had asked for a default budget from the school. Have we received that?
Well, actually, if you, yeah, I just sent out, I got it late today.
Okay, is that in that package of
Yes.
information?
Would you like a
Okay.
copy of it?
Do we have a default number for this town? No, all of a sudden I'm thinking about it.
That's gonna be in the warrant.
Right, that'll be in the warrant.
It'll be on, yeah, I was just wondering where, where it was.
Yes,
It's gonna be last year's budget plus whatever contractual agreements
Yeah.
need to be implemented.
Okay, so I guess in
well,
that,
with the school, the actual
that
proposed
sense,
budget was $26,652,112, and the default budget is $25,943,895.
and the budget was 26 what?
26,652,112.
So that's, yeah, only about $700,000 difference between,
Yes.
yeah, okay. And that's right, the town cannot determine the default budget until we know the status of the labor negotiation contract.
No, because I think we vote on, the town votes on the labor, I think that's a warrant article.
Oh, that's a warrant
That's a
article,
separate
so it's not included in the,
Not included
in the
in the budget.
default by,
Right.
yeah, okay, you're correct. Okay.
The Article 5 that the school has, the $162,110 to be added to the school improvement capital reserve fund. I noticed that there's, and I did not watch the meeting, so I don't know what the discrepancies were or what the arguments were, but I noticed that it was a 3-2 recommendation to approve this. I guess my question, and I understand no amount to be raised from taxation, but I think one of the things we need to find out is if this is defeated, does this money go back into the town's coffers? I mean, to lower the tax rate. Doesn't increase the tax rate, but could it potentially lower the tax rate?
That's the way it would work. So that money is left over interest from the bond fund, basically. And I won't, it wouldn't be appropriate here for me to go into the arguments made. Everyone can watch the meeting. We had a pretty lengthy discussion where everybody, made their points. So if anyone's interested, I'd encourage you to watch it. But yes, that is money that's left over from the bond fund. It can't, only 2 things can happen with it under law. Either the warrant article passes and it goes into the capital reserve, or it just becomes an offset to the tax rate, so it goes back to taxpayers.
So it comes back to the town against future tax rate.
it comes back to the taxpayers. I don't,
It's one of
just
those
semantically,
one-time
school or, yeah, it comes back to the
windfalls
taxpayers.
that we
We're
have.
talking about Article 5.
Correct.
Yes. Anything else for other business? Okay, now, I believe our next meeting will be the public hearing on the 9th of January.
Yeah.
And we have a snow/rain date of January 12th, I believe it is. So I will make sure that we get everything posted as necessary, and we'll try to get that done that evening. 6:30, a good start for everyone still?
Would
Yep.
you,
Yes.
is it your plan to discuss the warrant articles after that public hearing has closed?
I would assume that would be the appropriate time to do it, yes.
Okay,
Because
so
we will have to
We
take a
will have
vote,
to make a vote.
take a vote on it,
Yeah.
on all the articles and stuff.
Are we supposed to make a vote prior to the public hearing? No,
I don't believe so.
after the
I
public,
believe it is after the public hearing.
yeah. I think that's,
Yes.
okay.
Any other business? See,
Okay, so we're meeting at 6:30
6:30 on the
on the
9th,
9th, or 6:30 on the 12th.
on the 12th, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully the 9th works. If there's nothing else, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Chris, second by Ned. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, everyone.